There was an astonishing transformation in the House of Commons today. No, it wasn't Rachel Reeves turning into a shameless partisan spinner on the economy, it was Jeremy Hunt's regeneration into the leader of the opposition. From the moment Rachel Reeves stood up at the dispatch box, to the moment Mr. Hunt sat down, it was clear she had a tough job getting anyone other than the most loyal Labour MPs to believe the Great Deception. She tried trailing today's announcement to soften the blow, but, unfortunately, her politicking came up against truth-speaking economists, who had already provided sufficient ammunition to the Tories. Rishi Sunak wasn't in the Commons today, though he would have surely become quite bored with repeatedly heckling "I told you so." Instead, Jeremy Hunt rose and knocked down every single one of Rachel Reeves' claims like an expert bowler. Last week, after sitting through and irritatingly unpartisan first PMQs, I begged for a return to Punch and Judy politics. Well, thankfully both Labour and the Tories read my plea and responded comprehensively. Among some choice quotes from an incredibly bullish Jeremy Hunt, we were told that Ms. Reeves will fool absolutely no one with a shameless attempt to lay the ground for tax rises she didn't have the courage to tell us about. She has caved into the unions on pay. That is a choice, not a necessity. Doing it this way, she makes the first major misstep of her time as Chancellor. Because that great office of state depends more than any on trust. Yet in her first big moment, she breaks that trust with an utterly bogus attempt to hoodwink the public about the choices she has. Her first budget will become the biggest betrayal in history by a new Chancellor, and working families will never forgive her. These are just some of the greatest hits from a comprehensive takedown of today's excoriating response to Ms. Reeves' statement, and that is before we get to the biggest shocker of all, winter fuel payment. The impact of such a wide-scale abolition of winter fuel payments for pensioners will and should be debated. I have a strong feeling I know where Express readers will land on that particular conversation. However, the nerve to hit pensioners while rolling over and giving in to her union paymasters' demands for bumper public pay rises is a terrible look. Rachel Reeves thanked Wes Streeting for showing leadership on junior doctors' pay. Leadership used to be about taking tough and unpopular decisions for the national good. Apparently now it means being in hock to a union that launched deliberately political strikes days before an election, then giving in to their demands the moment you win power. The IFS Paul Johnson spelled it out in black and white this afternoon. Yes, the economy is in rickety shape, but at least half of today's black hole claimed by Rachel Reeves was made by her just this morning when she made the choice to accept bumper public sector pay rises. Then Martin Lewis emerged to blast the Chancellor, warning that the new means testing for winter fuel allowance is too narrow a group. Thus far Reeves has enjoyed a steely reputation who forensically tears apart questionable accounting by her political opponents. This autumn's budget is quickly measuring up to go down like a cup of cold sick. There's only so long she can blame the other lot, and she would do well to remember that while the public did reject the Tories, just 1 in 3 voters backed her party earlier this month on a record low turnout. Steely can very quickly turn into robotic and dislikable. Just ask Theresa May.